Thanks for joining me, everyone, as we begin an unforgettable adventure brought to us by Messiah. And so begins the legendary tale of Langrisser II from 1994. I'm surprised at how well this game has aged, as you are soon to find out. So let's begin a new game. I'm going to start by naming our hero, who has yet to be seen. I'm going to call him Elwin. This is the default name, by the way. Surprised it doesn't pop up automatically. But we're embarking upon Scenario 1, the beginning. Weary from his solitary journey, Elwin rested for a while at a small village in Southroth. Elwin got along well with the locals, especially a young magician named Hayne, who soon became a good friend. One quiet day, Hayne burst into the inn where Elwin was staying. In a fearful tone of voice, he informed him that the Rhaegar Empire was attacking the village and that Lyanna, one of Hayne's childhood friends, was in danger. Seizing his sword, Elwin went to try and rescue her. Conditions for victory: we must defeat Baldo, and we're defeated if he escapes to the bottom right corner of the map or Elwin is defeated. A couple of NPCs, we'll deal with them later. Right off the bat, we can enter our item shop, which is a new addition to this game, and we can only purchase a knife, only the most meager of attack upgrades. We're going to be fine without that. In most battles, you're going to be able to arrange your party as you see fit, but not in the beginning. And for several other battles to come, you won't have that option. It's for story purposes only. They're not just trying to be jerks about it. Interesting that Lyanna has stayed in the same village as Hayne. Elwin has spent some time here as well at this point, yet he hasn't met her himself. Perhaps this village is larger than the scaling of this map would lead us to believe. But regardless, we have a task at hand and we're going to follow through. So let's get it going. Anybody who's played Warsong or Langrisser will recognize the menu system for the most part. So if you were playing the original Japanese version of this, it wouldn't be impossible to navigate. The only downside is you would miss all of the wonderful story. And we do want to follow along with the narrative here. It is very well told, so I'm so thankful that somebody took it upon themselves to translate this in English for us. Whoever you may be out there, thank you very much. I apologize for not knowing your name. But I'm going to look that up, and I will definitely mention that in an upcoming installment of this, because they deserve to be mentioned. It's the very least I can do, honestly. So Hain, they're starting with guards, similar to the guardmen from the original, but they're definitely more useful in this game. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to Sir Leon and his subordinate Laird. Leon is basically Lance 2.0. That's really all you need to know about him. In fact, I'd go as far as to presume that Leon is a direct descendant of Lance. There's just too many similarities between them. And we'll see this even more so as time goes on. As you can see here, a man of honor, not just a bloodthirsty killer. And I would argue he's even more chivalrous than Lance was. A trait that Baldo does not share, unfortunately. Very, very crude general there. Lance there knows how to put him in check, thankfully. That chin check is in the mail. And the town militia is coming to save the day. Thank goodness, because I don't know if the two of us would have been enough. We're definitely not enough for Leon. We're not even going to look his direction in this battle. So I hope you weren't looking forward to that confrontation. We will, however, save Leona from Baldo. I think that's within our atmosphere. Yeah, you guys just go that way. Preoccupy yourselves, please. Leon hates to stoop this low. So again, he has a heart. He is not desensitized by the ravages of war, thankfully. Still flesh and blood under that iron and steel. And right off the bat, this group is going to engage us, throwing us right into the heat of combat, so you get to see the new battle system. Very similar to the first game. It's basically just a little bit of a cosmetic upgrade. Looks a little bit cleaner. Sprites are very large now, very detailed. Doesn't quite move as quickly, but perhaps that was one sacrifice that had to be made. And also note the exquisite detail in the character portraits. Again, for a 1994 16-bit Mega Drive game. And they hold up so well today. And again, the art for this game, the character design was by a very well-known character artist in Japan. Produced several manga and anime, I believe. Well, I'm not sure about manga, but definitely anime. I know for a fact that he did Plastic Little, if anybody remembers that. Some other ones as well, but nothing that I'm familiar with. I can't recall his name. I will put his name in the video description down below if anybody's interested and wants to look him up to see more of his work. He is the artist for the majority of the Langrisser series, I believe. So his design is very prominent and at this point inseparable with the franchise, I would say. Which is why the recent 3DS version is that much more jarring to look at, because it's a far cry from what we have here, don't you think? And not for the better, in my honest, humble opinion. But yeah, but the characters here are very detailed, very expressive. You get a good sense of where they all stand in terms of personality. And I can't wait to meet more of them. And who knows, if that opening scene was an indication, there might even be a familiar face or two from the original war song. Or is it just me? One of those characters look familiar. Well, one thing at a time, we need to deal with Baldo because he's getting very unruly over here. I really don't like this guy. I'm just going to come out and say it. Thankfully, he did not kill that civilian completely. Severely injured them though. Yeah, what's your boggle, man? What's your issue? Did you not get enough attention as a child? And we have to pay for it? Now, I think it's scripted that he will not completely kill those villagers. I think he always takes them down to one. I've only played this game a few times, but so far that's always been the case. So I'm glad for that. Now, if we're playing oh, by the way, quick note. Rather than the archers, the pikemen are strong against the knights in this game. So they've switched some things around. So you have to relearn some new tactics in addition to ones that you used previously. And that's the only thing that's going to allow these guys to survive for more than a turn. But make no mistake, their day's done. We need to be prompt, because if we take too long, they will be wiped out, and then Leon and Laird are going to be fresh out of food. They're going to come our way. So we best be on the march. Now, as time goes on, I will be speaking more about Der Langrisser, which is not quite Langrisser II. It's basically a revamped version of this game with some significant changes. So really, Langrisser II here, which was only released for the Sega Mega Drive, is the only true sequel to Langrisser. Der Langrisser is sort of its own thing entirely. So they're not the same game. In practically every version of Langrisser II that's not this, that calls itself Langrisser II, is in fact a different take of Der Langrisser. Now, I've just only, as of this recording, started my first playthrough of Der Langrisser, and I'm playing the original Super Famicom version first. Then I'm going to move on to try the version on Sega Saturn for comparison's sake. Now, as time goes on, as I have more experience with that game, I will talk more about the differences between the two, to compare and contrast, to show you the pluses and minuses of both sides. But for now, I wanted to show you guys the pure experience, the first true sequel to Langrisser. Because Der Langrisser has so many twists and turns and so many options, and while that's a good thing, technically, I kind of like the pure, straightforward experience that this offers. None of that deviating path stuff. Multiple endings, it gets messy, it's hard to show off more of the game, so we're going this route first. And depending on how things go, if there's enough interest maintained in the series by that time, who knows? I'm not going to rule out the possibility of a Der Langrisser playthrough. If I do go that route, I will probably opt for the Sega Saturn version, simply because I did a search on YouTube. I saw no playthroughs with or without commentary of the Saturn version of Langrisser II, or Langrisser 1 for that matter. Whereas Der Langrisser, the Super Famicom version, does have a very well commentated playthrough, Let's Play by Artega or Mega. So by all means, check that out. If you do a YouTube search for Langrisser 2 or Let's Play Langrisser 2, that will probably be the top option at the search. So I'll just make it easy for you guys. I'll put a link in the video description here, so save you some trouble. I mean, I took the time to talk about it, why not? This first group here is very easy. That's why I haven't really talked about them yet. Kind of on autopilot. They're no trouble at all. Just easing us into the gameplay here, as it should. Nothing too tough at the onset. I should also take this time to mention that this will be presented as a 100% walkthrough guide. So it will not be a casual Let's Play. I will do my best to keep it from getting too dry and too stale, but make no mistakes, this is going to be focused on presenting strategies to win and to win well. I'm going for all items in the game. There are a lot of secret items here. There are also secret locations to unlock bonus scenarios. Very welcome new addition to this game. There are 4 total. One of them you kind of have to cheat, I think. Well, that is, you have to use codes in order to unlock. You cannot get it just playing through the standard way. So I'm going to save that for last to show that off. The other 3 secret scenarios can be unlocked in the game, so I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to show every item location in the game. Also going for a no death run, or I should say a no loss run of all of my generals, because in this game they got rid of permadeath. If you lose a commander in battle, they are just out of that fight. They miss out on any experience they would have gotten, but they will be back for the next battle. So that's a plus. However, I want to collect all the experience. You know me, gotta get that XP. So I will aim to keep everybody alive for every battle. It's going to be very difficult in this game, but I think we can pull it off. So this is my goal. This is the plan. Let's make it happen. So as you can see there, guardmen can actually hold their own against basic soldiers. Still effective against slime, who will be making a return appearance along with some other faces and freaks and foes. All in due time. Hayne here starts off with Magic Arrow. Just a little something to nick them down. Nothing major, but it does help. Keeps him from getting his hands dirty as well. And down goes the fighter in a hurry. Poor chap, never knew what he was in for. A little too eager to prove himself, it was his undoing. Now in the onset we have very limited command range, so we want to keep our people close by. So that's what we're going to do. That'll be the end of our turn. And thankfully the villagers are now off of the map, don't have to worry about them. Laird there, not as strong as Leon, but no slouch either. And he's commanding heavy horsemen, which is the second tier cavalry unit, so yeah, those guards will not be lasting much longer, I'm afraid. Even with that priest and his healing ability. Alright, Baldo's getting closer now. Let's see if we can't loosen Liana away from that clown. Uh-oh, here comes Leon. Their death is upon them now. If I had a way to save them, I would, but I can't. There's nothing I can do for them. But their sacrifice was definitely not in vain. We're going to make it count. You can bet on that. So long, brave one. Alright, we're on turn 5. We shouldn't have any problems catching up to him, but we don't want to sacrifice the terrain bonus if we can help it. We're going to want to get close enough for them to want to engage us. Now, too late for that, Liana. Yeah, how are we not going to help you? That is the opposite of everything we need to be doing. Alright, we're not going to get too aggressive though, just mostly getting our people in position. Since they're standing next to their commander, I don't mind them going into battle. They should be okay, especially if we send in some backup. Finish the job. Yes. Shouldn't be too difficult to get some levels here too. Not in the early stages. Speaking of levels, there's our first one. Another welcome improvement to this game, even though you didn't see it there. In Langrisser II, you will actually get additional stat points on occasion with your level ups. You don't have to wait until you get all the way to level 10 and promote to see a jump in stats. Along the way, you'll occasionally get plus attack, plus defense, plus MP, occasional new spell, so you definitely want to keep those levels going up for everyone. I believe that Hayne will learn the magic attack. Well, he will learn the magic spell attack up next. I'm not sure what level, but he gets it relatively early, so it is imperative that he gets that as soon as possible. It's going to really help out, especially in scenarios 3 and after. But in my opinion, this game basically took everything that we loved about Warsong, that is Langrisser, and improved it in every way imaginable. I mean, no stone was left unturned here. The presentation, gameplay, the interface, the music, and as much as I love the soundtrack to Warsong, it's very unique compositions there, but there's so few of them. This game wins out simply for variety. There's just so much diversity here in the music, and some of it is just simply fantastic. And it just astounds me that to this day so many people talk trash about the 16-bit Sega sound chip, say that it was inferior to the Super Nintendo, Super Famicom. To me, they were different styles, and they excelled in different areas. But listening to something like this, I'm sorry, you couldn't hear this particular type of sound on anything other than the 16-bit Sega. and it just fits so well. And it's just very energetic. Just, I can't say enough good things about it. And this track here in particular is one of the standouts. I believe it is referred to as Knight's Errand in the soundtrack. And I think my favorite track, or one of my favorite tracks, top 3 for sure, we'll be hearing that in the next scenario. And I'll definitely mention that one when we do. But the more I hear this track, the more I like it too. I'm growing very fond of it. But back to Baldo, and what's left of his men. My, they are fading fast. And we didn't expect anything else, did we? Naturally, we want to finish off his men before we finish him. So with that in mind, let's continue getting everybody into position. See if we can soften them up just a bit. Ooh. And they returned the favor. Alright, that's all for now. That's right, priest. Survival. Please, make it happen. No, they're gone. Oh, no. Same mechanic in this one. If a commander attacks when they're at less than 10 health, there is a strong possibility that they will not finish off their target. Provided their target is at full health at least. Otherwise, they're fair game. Yeah, we'd better treat him. Haynes' major downfall in his current class is his primary attack, while powerful, has a charge to it. So it takes a few seconds to take effect. In that time, he can be attacked. So you have to be mindful of that. Hopefully this will take care of these guys. We have the numbers advantage, and it makes all the difference. And that just leaves them, and then Baldo, who surprisingly enough has a full head of hair. So what's in a name? I couldn't say. More importantly, what's in our blades? Is it the will to win? I certainly hope so. Because the man's gotta go. And the girl, she's gotta stay. Unlike him, we know how to treat a woman. That's respectfully, for those wondering. Trying to slink on by. And oh, what a big bad man you are. Attack the one at 1 health. I'm so impressed. You're everything I aspire to be. Can I just walk in your shadow, Baldo, please? Nah, I'll pass, actually. Oh, and that's the end of the priest, whose portrait doesn't match his sprite in the least. Still sad to see him go, though. Alright, Elwyn, can we finish it? Get him. Alright, he softened up. Hane. Just wait till we get our Hane on you. Now, any of our troops can finish it. I would like Elwyn to get the credit for this. After all, we called him in. Specifically, special request for assistance. Gotta follow the story. And ooh, he called a bad one. But as you sow. Smart move. Yes, Sir Swordsman. A little too formal. Now, you didn't do too bad either, hey? Well, everyone, that concludes the battle. To be completely transparent here, a lot of love and labor went into this production. I truly hope you liked it, and if you did, please take a moment to click that like button on your screen, and join me again next time where we take on Scenario 2. Until then, thanks for watching, supporting this fine series, and hopefully, I'll see you soon.